Did it ever happen to you that you held yourself in high esteem, maybe regarding a sport or regarding something, and then you got humbled and you discovered that you weren't as good as you thought you were? Well, that happened to me. I remember when I was in Peru, I did pretty good studying theology. I got good grades. I thought I could hold my ground with theology. And then I moved here to my community, and I remember that when we sat down for lunch, the brothers came back from college, from their theology classes, and they would start sharing, what is it that they were studying. And I noticed that when they were commenting on their studies, I normally could say this much, but the priests that were next to me could say this much. So I started to discover, perhaps I don't know as much theology as I thought I did. So every time that the brothers came back from their studies and they started talking about theology, I said, can we talk about something else? Today, Jesus asked apparently the same question 3 times to Peter. But there's a detail. The first time he asks a different question to Peter. He says, Peter, son of John, do you love me more than these? That's the only time he asks the question that way. That's the only time he frames it that way. Do you love me more than these? Peter responds, Lord, you know that I love you. He doesn't say, I love you more than these. He only says, Lord, I love you. Why was Jesus asking that question? Because Peter in the past, Peter had told Jesus, even if everybody backs down, I'm not going to betray you. Peter thought that he was better than the rest. Peter basically told Jesus, even if everybody is afraid, I guarantee you that I won't let you down. Peter thought very highly of himself. So Jesus asked him the question, do you love me more than these? Basically he's saying, Peter, do you still think you're better than the rest? Do you still think that you won't back down when the rest back down? But Peter learned his lesson, because when Peter responds, he says, Lord, you know that I love you. He doesn't say, Lord, yeah, I love you more than these. He says, you know that I love you. He learned his lesson. He was humbled, and no longer did he think himself better than the rest. St. Paul, chapter 2 to the letter of the Philippians, he says, hold yourself in less esteem than everyone else. Think of yourself less than the rest in all humility. And I know this is challenging, because let's think about this situation. Imagine that you know that you don't commit mortal sins. And you know that someone else does have a problem with grave sin. How can you hold yourself less than the one that does fall? How? Do you deceive yourself? No. This is the formula. The only certainty that you have is that no other person in the world has been loved and graced and blessed in the same way that you have and has responded more poorly to God than you have. You don't know what's going on in the life of others, but I can tell you, at least I can know for my own life, that no one has been as graced and as blessed as I have, and no one has, in my conditions, responded more poorly to God. So today, brothers and sisters, do you still think you're better than the rest? Do you sometimes think that you're spiritually more advanced than those around you? Well, if we do, perhaps that's a sign that we're just beginners. Because the more we move forward in the spiritual life, the more we hold ourselves in less regard. Remember, the only certainty that you can have for yourself is that no one has been as loved and as graced, as blessed as you have, and no one has responded more poorly to God than you have.